the MVP method. If I want to go from place A to place B, don't give me a fucking supercar. Just give me a skate and my needs will be met. Now, MVP doesn't stand for what you think it stands for. It stands for minimal valuable product. What is it? Well, the best way to put this into perspective is by leveraging this metaphor. Now, I did not come up with this metaphor. This is from Henrik Nickberg. Now, if you've watched my previous videos up until this one, that means you already have the right mindset to understand where I'm coming from. But if you haven't, go watch my other previous videos. The big mistake we all make, when somebody wants to go from place A to place B, we think they need a fucking car. And if we're even more stupid than the average people, we think they need a supercar to go faster. That's the thing. When you're starting out, you don't have the time, source, and energy to fucking build a car. You don't even have what it takes to know how to go about that. You would be wasting your time and your energy building a car, therefore focusing on unnecessary features. The reason why you want to focus on the need of your customer when you're first starting out is not only because you don't have the resource, time, and energy to build a car, but it's because when you're starting a business, you are betting on yourself and therefore you are making assumptions. Now, I would be assuming that my customer wants a car. The customer I'm trying to serve just wants to go from place A to place B. Let's say the customer is called Joe. We're gonna give that motherfucker a name, right? He wants to go from place A to place B. I would be assuming that he wants a car. But the truth is, if you can only get him from place A to place B, he's gonna be happy. And when we build assumptions as business owners, as entrepreneurs, that haven't been validated by the market, we are gambling. We are trying to predict the future, and we have to stay away from that. And this is why everybody that starts their first business always fails, because they're trying to predict the future. The truth is, you don't want to be perfect. You don't want to build something perfect and then launch it in the market and then hope that everybody's going to like it. But that's the thing. That's what we're taught in traditional school, in traditional business school, which is why going to business school is completely fucking different than getting your hands dirty and starting your first business. And this is why business teachers are fucking broke too. Because the truth is, the marketplace will determine if what you have is valuable. Martin Golden once said, don't write a book you want to write, but write a book the marketplace wants to read. That's what it all comes down to. We, by doing assumptions that are not validated by the market, we are trying to guess what people wants to read. By, for example, building something we want to building something we are passionate about. Let's go back to the example of the book. If I write a book about my story, about my life, the truth is nobody fucking asks and nobody fucking cares. Besides my mom, and she knows my life. She's been there all around so far. So she's not even gonna read that book. So not even her, not even my own mother's gonna read my book. Who else will? And I'm not a superhero. I'm a nobody. So nobody's gonna read that book unless I put my focus on what the marketplace, aka the readers, wants to read. This is why your main focus in the beginning shouldn't be on wasting your time writing a book you think people want to write, aka building a car you think Joe wants, but you should only focus on the need of Joe. His need is to go from place A to place B. Now, the cheapest way and the fastest way to do this is by giving him a skate. Now, why do you want to focus on the fastest and cheapest way to do this? The thing is, you want to get the feedback of the market as fast as possible. Why? Because you want to validate your assumptions. And since the marketplace only can determine if what you have is valuable, you need to know what the marketplace is screaming for. For that, you need to get your hands dirty as fast as possible. Give to Joe the cheapest and fastest way to go from place A to place B, and let him tell you, in this scenario, Joe represent the marketplace. Let Joe tell you what improvement he needs. What does he want more from the skate? Because that's what's going to happen. Your focus number one here is going to be on solving the need. Joe wants to go from place A to place B. You give him a skate. He's able to go from place A to place B. The need is solved. But now you're going to open your ears and pay attention to what Joe tell you, aka the marketplace. The most important part of this relationship is the feedback you get. Because now Joe is going to be like, man, I was able to go from place A to place B, but this skate thing, man, is not my thing, man. It's unstable, I have no balance, and it's pretty damn slow. With that feedback, you, having wasted no money, time, source, and energy, is going to be, all right, Joe, I got you, motherfucker. You're gonna give him a scooter, something that's in the form of a scooter. Now guess fucking what? Joe is more stable and he can go from place A to place B faster. Now Joe is gonna come back to you and you're gonna pay attention and he's gonna tell you, look man, I like this thing, but it's still too slow. I'm more stable, which is good, but it's still too slow. So you're gonna go back in the lab cooking and come up with a bike. And that's how you want to leverage feedback. Joe is doing the job for you in this scenario so that you don't have to waste your time guessing what the marketplace wants. Now you come up with a bike, give it to Joe. He's like, I fucking love this thing, man. Now Joe enjoys the fucking ride. He's way faster, more stable, and on top of that, He loves having a bike because he gets to have wind on the face when he goes fast, and he just loves the experience overall. Now you're making Joe happy on top of solving his need. But now a little bit later he comes to tell you, man, I really like the bike, don't get me wrong, and I really like the model, but the only problem is that it's not that good for long distances. When I'm trying to travel long distances, it's getting exhausted, I'm sweaty, and it's not good for long distances. Now your smartass is going to go back in the lab, going to cook a little bit and come up with a fucking motorcycle. Now see how you are able to keep everything Joe liked from the bike, and therefore without wasting your time, energy, and resources, you are able to not restart from scratch, but you kept everything that Joe already liked, but you were able to add something else that was able to reply to the feedback you just got from Joe, which was that it's hard for long distances. So now what you did, you came up with an insight by adding an engine. Now Joe is completely happy. He is the happiest customer you've ever had in your life. Not only you were able to build a long relationship, but you were also able to save yourself time, energy, and be efficient, therefore being lean. Now you're able to come up with a bike. I know it's not over, okay? At the beginning you wanted to give him a supercar because you thought that was the right solution, but Joe is telling you, is here to tell you, man, you know what? Fuck the supercar. I love the motorbike. I love that shit. Now imagine you would have wasted your time building this entire supercar and gave it to him. Maybe he would have enjoyed it, whatever, but you missed out on true value creation. And you would have wasted your energy, time, and resources on building something that Joe don't really need. And this is why so many businesses fail at first, right? They don't validate their assumptions. And now you came up with this bike, this thing that made him happier than ever. You could have built a car, maybe he would have been happy because who doesn't want a fucking Ferrari, right? But the competitor who's going to beat you is going to be the guy who would have leveraged the MVP method and come up with the bike. And even if you would have given Joe a Ferrari, the day he will meet your biggest competitor who was able to come up with the motorbike, he's going to fucking sell the car and get the motorbike. That's how you're going to get beat. And at this point, the car is simply a whole bunch of added features and a whole bunch of improved stuff. And the car here, maybe Joe would have enjoyed it, maybe he would have not. But the more early adopters you get, the more feedback you will have, the more features you can add on what is already working. You only add features to what is already working. You only add features and details and bonuses and all that good stuff to things that are already validated and proven. The difference between the bike and the Ferrari here is little things such as air conditioning. The doors open up like wings. Obviously it goes fucking faster and it's more safe. But these feedback, all these little details I just gave you, all these little feedbacks, you're only gonna earn these feedback and acquire these feedback by putting yourself out there, by acquiring new earlier adopters and hearing them on their feedback, listening to what they have to say. That's the only way you're gonna be able to leverage the feedback you get to work your way up into building your own supercar. It's not gonna be a Ferrari probably, but depending on the feedback you're gonna get and how fast you apply it, you will come up with your own supercar. That's the whole process of the MVP method. That's what it stands for. Not trying to reinvent the wheel, but get your hands dirty as fast as possible and get feedback as fast as possible, to iterate as fast as possible, to become as lean as possible. Thank you.